Welcome back to Edgemont Elegance, everybody. It is Wednesday, August the 20th. There is a ton of work that has taken place since we were here last week. I am really excited to show you where things are at today. All right, so here we are, front of the house. So this column has its scratch coat on. This is ready to receive the masonry product. Now, what goes behind the scratch coat is a wire mesh, and that is attached to the wall using galvanized roofing nails, and so that is going to hold the wire mesh on there. And so they try to make sure that there's some space in here so that this concrete, which is what a scratch coat is, this is just concrete, masonry concrete, so it's not like the stuff you put in your foundation walls, that goes in between the mesh, and that is done in a very rough sort of way so that when you go to install the masonry, there's lots of surface area for the stone to bond to. Now, as we go around the outside of the house, let's have a look at this. So we have our friends here from Black Diamond Masonry. They are here getting, well, they were doing the wire mesh and the scratch coat, but today and this week, they're just kind of dry fitting different stones. And so this is the sill material. Profile of that stuff is like so. So we've got a curve cut in the bottom, and so that is going to prevent water from sticking across the bottom and going back into the house. So the water will drip from the curve. And of course, on the top of that, there's some slope. So any water that does land here is going to shed away from the house. All right, so we are inside the home now, and the drywallers are just finishing their cleanup. So they are getting the floors cleaned up, they're getting any scrap material out of the house, and we're making the home ready for the painter. So the next step will be having our guys come through and vacuum up the floors, plugs, switches, all that sort of stuff to reduce or eliminate as much dust as possible. So as we come through here, we can see walls are looking nice and smooth. Definitely drywall dust, but that's what you would expect. So for me, I'm coming through and I'm looking up, again, making sure our three-ways are okay for the most part. Now, it's important to remember, if our three-ways aren't great on this particular project, we're not gonna care very much. And the reason being is we're doing crown molding throughout. So that crown molding is gonna cover over all of the upper edges of the drywall. So basically where the walls meet the ceiling, there will be crown molding. And so the inside corners at the ceilings really aren't that important. We've got the client's office here. Now, one of the things that this client noticed and was not thrilled about was the fact that the skylight wasn't perfectly centered in this room. So we ended up ordering a custom skylight for him because the framing did not allow for the skylight to be exactly where he wanted it to be. So we had to get a skylight that was slightly more narrow, and that will allow for us to be equidistant from this wall to that wall. And you know, when you want things just so, there's often a little bit of trial and error, and that's what happened here. Coming in here, we're now in the kitchen, right? We've got all sorts of wires coming through the walls. These are for future low voltage lighting. This is for the kitchen hood fan, which will be mounted here. We've got wires here for a future range. Again, we've got our plumbing over here for the sink. More low voltage for cabinet lighting. So I'm sure whatever is going on here, I haven't memorized what the elevations look like. So sorry if I don't know the exact details, but this is gonna look great once that's done, I am certain. More shelving and low voltage lighting here. Now, one of the things that we had to do on this project, and that we do on most of our projects these days, is we had to cut corners, or I guess U-shapes, out of the drywall at the windows. We found that using flanged windows is just problematic. So we don't tend to use flanged windows anymore. We tend to use windows that have straps on them, and those straps come out from the window and then attach to the framing beside. Now, of course, you know, between the strap and the screw itself, it builds out to about 1/8 of an inch. So if you run your drywall straight down here, what's gonna happen is you're gonna have humps at the drywall. Now, we don't really care that this is here because ultimately there's gonna be a window casing that goes over top of it. So once the finishing work is done, you're never ever gonna know that this was ever left open like that. But if we didn't cut this stuff out, you would see when you're looking at how this window casing attaches to the jamb of the window, you would see lumps where the straps are. So this is what we do to get a nice, flat, smooth finish. And that's what happens when you work with pros. Because the drywallers have been here, we've had to unprotect the fireplace. This is going to get plywood in front of it by the end of the day tomorrow so that it is again protected so that this doesn't get damaged. So the heat from the fireplace is going to go from here into these ducts here, and get directed to this exhaust vent here. So the heat from the fireplace is actually going to get directed above. And that is mostly for a safety concern, because without that, you know, as we all know, fires are hot and people tend to burn themselves when they touch the glass when it's been turned on. So this doesn't eliminate the possibility of burning yourself, but it reduces the possibility because the heat is being shifted up, hence heat shift. Well, I'll tell you, one of the issues with walking through a home that is under drywall progress in a black shirt and blue jeans is you get drywall dust everywhere. So excuse my appearance. Anyways, coming into the primary suite, tile floor prep. So we talked about it and we talk about it all the time. Schluter, we love you. Free product, send our way, we'll be happy. Nonetheless, we have got anti-fracture membrane in here. We will be putting heat cable between the hexagonal bits here, and that will happen in the next week or so. We have got the shower underway, and this is looking awesome. So we've got a linear drain against the wall here. At Villa Familiar, we're talking about what a shower niche is. That is a shower niche. So ultimately, people will be able to put their soap bottles or shampoo bottles here, soap here. This one is tall enough that we could probably get away with putting a shelf in here as well. Maybe a shelf up here, and so you can have your shampoo bottles here and then bars of soap up here. But you know, who knows? I mean, everybody's different. I'm a shampoo bottle and a bar of soap kind of guy, but hey, you do you. Getting the right product to site is more of a battle than you could ever possibly realize sometimes. This is the third pocket door frame that we have had to order to this site for this project because our supplier kept sending us the wrong ones. And so, you know, here we've got a pocket door frame that needs to be 2 by 6 inches wide because it's a 2 by 6 wall, and it needs to accommodate the doors that are going to go in. So we've got, this comes with the top rails in and all that sort of stuff. So this is going to receive drywall. So the drywallers have to come in here and put drywall on both sides of this and tape that up and make it look pretty. Comment section, yes, in a perfect world, we would generally have this all be one piece of drywall so that you don't see any cracks up here. Less stressed about this in this particular application because it is a pocket door. One, it's almost never gonna get used. And two, when it does get used, your forces are in and out, right? Whereas if you have a swing door, your door is coming out and now you've got force coming on the end of the door, pulling the jamb forward, which is what causes your cracks up there. Also, when your kid has left their dishes on the counter for the 5th time in as many days, and you go to your room because you're pissed and you slam the door, it causes it to rattle up there, and that's where you get those cracks if you don't carry a board all the way across the header. So you can see here, we're using proper ceilings and walls in this project like we normally like to do. And you can see here, this is one continuous piece of drywall across the top. There's no seam here. And that's a pretty common practice with a lot of lower end drywallers is they'll board to the door, put something here, and then have another piece of drywall go across there, board to here, and then have the board end here, and then have a vertical seam here. And it's this seam here that frequently cracks. And now that I've mentioned it to you, you're gonna notice it on more of the homes you go to where you see cracks in the drywall above the door. And that's the reason why you see the crack. So if you use one continuous piece, you're not gonna see those cracks. Again, looking clean, looking great. Again, don't forget, YouTube land, we are doing crown molding everywhere. So the upper inside corners do not need to be finished. They're just taped so that they're taped up. Other than that, they're gonna get crown molding at the tops of the rooms. So that's gonna look awesome once that's done. Eric, what's crown molding? So crown molding is that finishing detail that you see at the top of the wall and it kind of goes up like that, except if I were roughly 2 feet taller, then I could have my hand touch the wall and the ceiling at the same time. I'm just not that tall. So there will be a piece at roughly a 45-degree angle, again, depending on your crown profile, but roughly 45-degree angle going from the wall to the ceiling, and that will circle the upper perimeter of the room. The mudroom looking absolutely great, nice and clean. This is a future ironing board station. So the ironing board will fit into the wall. So when the client wants to iron stuff, they just pull it out, iron in here, and away it goes, and no muss, no fuss. We are in one of the upstairs bedrooms. Again, drywall pretty much finished. We just need to do final clean so the painters can come in and blast out their work. Now, when I was talking earlier about how we prep and clean for that, so somebody literally is going to come around with a vacuum cleaner and vacuum out all of the switch locations, plug locations, get all of this excess dust out of here, because that dust is going to form little nugs that stick to your drywall in the paint, and that's what makes your walls look terrible. So a little bit of attention to detail, a little bit of extra time, far superior results. That's the Sprucehill way. Coming in here, we've got more of our Ditra anti-fracture membrane. We have the shower, all waterproofed, ready to rock and roll. Come on, guys. There will be a light here. So while it looks dark right now, it is, but ultimately there will be a light in here. There's gonna be a hand shower here, slidey rod thing here, and linear drain into the shower bay. So looking really, really good. This is for a television to be mounted to. So you've got your line voltage or your plug here, and then this is for your Cat 6. So this is 2 drops of Cat 6 here, and that will make sure that their TV works perfectly every time. We've got another bathroom, again, Ditra anti-fracture membrane, shower, waterproofed, ready to go. The last bathroom upstairs, again, Ditra anti-fracture membrane. This will make sure that your home, your tile work really, is gonna stay looking great for the rest of the time. Why are the controls for the shower over here and the shower head over here? The reason is if you put your controls over here, which is where the door is gonna be, then you can stand here, open up the door this way, or open up the door this way, turn your shower on, wait for the water to get warm before you get in the shower, and then step in and the water is warm. It is to prevent you from having a cold shower that you don't want. We have now found ourselves in the basement here at Edgemont Elegance. This is a great room. Television is ready to be mounted over there, pot lights in the ceiling, ready to rock and roll. Now, as I walk over here, what's different here is because we were in the basement, we could have done flush shower pans upstairs as well, but the client didn't want to pay for the custom framing that would be involved in doing it. Fair enough, it's not cheap. In the basement, easy for us to accomplish because we've got a slab here. We've got 4 inches of concrete that we can play with. So we just blocked out enough here so that we could create a flush shower in here. So, or a curbless shower, however you want to call it. So curbless shower, so the floor heat will come in here. This will be heated floor as well. Again, all waterproof. Schluter, we love you, great stuff. If you're not using Schluter on your project, I think you're selling yourself short. I have tried using that paint on red stuff and paint on blue stuff, did not end well. Have not, touch wood, haven't had any issues using Schluter. You know, oftentimes people think that, when the drywall goes in, the home's gonna start looking smaller and the rooms are gonna start looking smaller. It has been my experience that once the drywall goes in, the rooms actually look bigger because you can actually feel the actual size of the room. This is a massive room. It looked decently big before we put the drywall up, but once you've got the drywall up, it's big and very echoey. All right, let's keep rolling. So this is one of the suite bedrooms. So we're now in a basement suite. So we just walked through a magical door into the basement suite. So this is bedroom number 1 or 2, whatever you want to call it. But this is one of the bedrooms of 2 bedrooms down here. Kyle's just asking, how does this basement suite work? Well, there's going to be a fireproof lockable door here. And so door locks. This is a bedroom here. And then as we come through this bedroom, to our left here is a den. And then in here, we've got a coat closet. And then in here, we've got another bedroom with a really nice big closet in here. And this is also, a legal suite. It requires to have its own sub panel. So this is the electrical panel for the basement suite. And then as Kyle catches up to me, I'm in the bathroom. Again, anti-fracture membrane, Schluter Curdy, waterproofing for the shower. It's just the way to do it, guys. It is the way to do it. Then in here, laundry closet, another linen closet here, another coat closet over here, and then a massive space here. So you can foresee there being television there, kind of sort of like maybe a sofa over here, a love seat over there, sofa here, coffee table there. There'll be an island. So there'll be seating around the island for eating your food and whatnot. This is gonna be a very, very nice kitchen in here once it's done. This is gonna be a sweet, sweet basement suite. And you tell me, YouTube land, Does this look dark and dingy to you? Because it sure doesn't feel dark and dingy to me. There is so much natural light coming in here because of the number of light wells that we've put in. Thumbs up to Radius Architecture. Love those guys. Radius Architecture designed tons of light wells for this basement so that we get a whole bunch of natural light coming in here, which really helps to make it feel not like a basement. Well, listen, that is a wrap on today's walkthrough, everybody. If you have a home that you'd like to build and you have a dream for something amazing, we sure would love to be a part of that experience with you. Reach out on our phone number right here, catch us at the office, or you can check us out at our website. We'd love to connect and learn more about how we can help you. In the meantime, hit that like and subscribe button. We sure would appreciate it. Thank you so very much for watching. Stay awesome. Bye now.